fellow human beings, and welcome to episode 93 of the Best Blessed Life. I'm your best host, Kristen, and today's topic is Pip Pip Cheerio Valentine's treats. Now a cake made of cheese? Before we get started, I want to thank you all for watching. Please continue to watch, comment, share, like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please pass them on to anyone you think that they would help. With that being said, our things to do today are to show you my fancy new apron. Thank you, Jordan. Mwah! I love it. It's beautiful. Are of course our daily inspirations, which once again I'm going to be reading off my phone. Monumental moves? Wait, doesn't that contradict everything I've been saying? Cereal treats transformed, hopefully. And just as a friendly reminder, every recipe is made for the very first time, right in front of you, on this very episode. Okay, so I love my apron. Let me know. What do you think? Write in the comment section below. Alright, so if you couldn't get that we're making cheesecake, sorry. And if you couldn't get that somehow the cereal treats from Valentine's Day are going to be incorporated, well, then maybe that's just going to be a nice surprise. I think. Okay. Excuse me. So, now I've gotten away from making mostly healthy things in the past few episodes, but I'm going to try and get back to that a little bit. Now, our cereal treats from last week were okay as far as sugar content and overall calories per one piece, if you will. But the downfall of the cereal treats, while tasty, was the fact that they had to remain cold for the chocolate not to melt, and in keeping them in the fridge, it kept the marshmallow too hard. So, you see the conundrum? The other thing was that it was so chocolate forward that the only thing that made sense, if I did that again, would be to maybe crush the Cheerios up just a little bit, and then also, because I feel like it was too wide of a piece to be biting down on, you know when you bite the cereal off the spoon, it's like super hard, right? And cuts the roof of your mouth. So I felt that same sensation with these, only the marshmallow made it that much harder. And then with the hard chocolate, yowza, forget about it. With my jaw, oh my goodness. So the other thing would be to only dip half of it and possibly extend the amount of strawberry even still, because even dusting them with the freeze-dried strawberry dust did not still give me too much of the strawberry flavor in the chocolate-covered strawberry. Alright, so here's our recipe for today. And sorry, I wrote it in really hard-to-read colors. I don't know why I'm going so slow today. Alright, so let me read it off the board. It's the best healthy cheesecake. The crust is sugar-free cookies crushed, and she gives a recipe. I figure you can use any sugar-free cookie. Probably a package worth. I did not get measurements, unfortunately. Half a cup of granulated sweetener of your choice. She, I can't remember what she used, to be honest. But she said stevia or truvia. I'm just using pure sugar cane the brown unprocessed. And then 1/3 cup of butter. Now, in saying that, I'm only using that sweetener down here because what I'm using for the crust, hopefully, is the cereal treats. And what I did was I cut them up into really as small chunks as I could get. And I'm hopefully going to be able to just press them in the pan the way they are because I'm hoping the marshmallow is going to do its job and stick together. But I have backup cereal treats if we need to run a second test to add the butter just to see, and maybe not even 1/3 cup. Maybe I don't need that much because I'd already used butter in the cereal treats. So that's something I might process while I'm standing here. 1 cup of non-fat cream cheese, 2 cups of non-fat Greek yogurt, and she said the thicker the better. I use Fage, that's the only one I like. 2 large eggs, 2/3 cup granulated sugar of choice, and that's where the cane sugar came in. 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and you know, I forgot to asterisk anything today. I'm just off my game. You would not believe the morning I've had. And then 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're preheated to 325, and in a mixing bowl, you're going to add the cookies, the sweetener, and the melted butter, and whisk them together, and then press them into a 8-inch springform pan. Well, wouldn't you know, I have 3 springform pans, and none of them I could find the bottom part to. So I read up, and they said you could use a cake pan. Unfortunately, I just have a 7-inch. They said to line it with parchment paper, which I did on the bottom. I sprayed it first so the parchment would stick, and I got it to stick mostly, you know, I cut the circle first, and then I did a ring around the edges. So my cake is going to be much taller, and what they did say too is that the thinner the cheesecake, obviously, the less time. So I guess I could have used just a 13 by 9-inch baking dish, glass one. That might work too. So then you're going to press that into the springform pan. Then you're going to add all the filling ingredients into a high-speed blender, it says, and blend until smooth. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just mix it in my blender and blend it as high and see how smooth it gets. I'm not into blenders so much. I like my immersion blender, don't get me wrong. I guess that would have worked here. No, the ingredients might be too thick. And then you transfer it onto the crust. You bake 45 to 55 minutes or until middle is set. Remove from oven and let cool before refrigerating for at least 4 hours to firm it up. And then it must be stored in the fridge, covered, and that'll last 2 weeks. And you can freeze if you place it in a shallow container, and you can store it for up to 6 months, which I thought was really great. Each piece is 93 calories, 9 grams of carbs, 6 grams of protein, and 4 grams of fat. So not too shabby. And I don't know, they never tell you what sizes the pieces are. So who knows? Maybe 93 calories is this big. She says hopefully. All right. I think what I want to do is I'm going to get all this stuff dumped in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do the crust first. And I forgot to grab the ingredients. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I'm back. So, the only issue is going to be how big the chunks are and if I can get them any smaller, because they're all about that size. So, but it looks and smells great. That's what it looks like. Looks like really mini croutons. And I try to, you know, go through and chop them as much as possible. I'm now seeing some bigger pieces. It is pretty sticky. I'm just going to see if it sticks itself. I might need a little melted butter just to see what happens. And yeah, I do have some bigger chunks here. So, what do I want to do? Maybe melt a couple tablespoons of butter, which I'm going to do off camera, and then I can also get some of these bigger chunks, which I didn't notice the other day because I didn't cut with my glasses on. See if I can get them any smaller real quick, and I'll be back. Just hang in there. I know we just got started, but I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. So I did look up like just a basic graham cracker crust recipe, and it says 2 1/4 cups of graham crackers, which they said equals out to 11 sheets. Excuse me. So it equals out to about 11 sheets, which doesn't seem like enough to me to equal out to that amount. But anyway, so what I did was I basically chopped this up a little more, so it's even more of a crumb. But the nice thing is it's still marbled, but there is a lot of smaller pieces, which is good. So what I decided to do, instead of risking it not sticking together at all and having to start over, is I melted 2 tablespoons, not 1/3 cup like it originally said, but 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to drizzle in, and I'm going to kind of eyeball. Because I know what a basic graham cracker crust, when you're mixing the butter and the graham crackers together, what it typically looks like. Hopefully. Now, I'm erring on the side of caution because I hopefully learned my lesson. But I'm also going to talk to you today about monumental moves, just in general, and what that means or how you can foresee them happening. Put my glasses back on. I think I'm going to need a little bit more. I'm just kind of almost trying to rejuvenate the marshmallow so that it sticks, but has more of a sticky, like when we first melted them, kind of, but maybe not that traumatic. Okay, I'm starting to see now. The only other thing I'm worried about, and why the parchment paper seems so fortuitous, is the chocolate being a problem and just melting on the bottom. I'm hoping it's going to stay kind of intermingled. One more little drizzle. I don't even probably use a tablespoon and a half, maybe. I'm gonna break my Band-Aids. Just what I need. I keep bumping this cut on my knuckle, and so I'm like, why don't we at least protect it? And of course, the minute you start baking, that's a no-go. Alright, and since I have to use my hands, I'm going to take it off. Because I'm sure nobody wants Band-Aid on their cheesecake. I'm going to wipe it off. Okay. And then, alright, here's the part that scares me. Is it going to stick together? Because I gotta know it's gonna do its job, right? And become. I'm gonna put the rest of this in here. And who knows? I might need more, but I'm trying to learn from my lessons. That might have been what did it. Okay, because now our crumbs are sticking together now, and not just the chocolate ones. All right, that might have did it, guys. Okay, so what I usually do when I make a cheesecake, maybe I should dab some of this extra and put it like on here. This one. I knew it was going to happen. I thought it was I never thought putting parchment paper in was going to be such a traumatic experience. But it is. Okay. Alright. Well, that actually... Stickers. Okay. I'll get it. I don't know what this is. So... I'm going to kind of put it in, and I'm going to use that same technique that I used for the... I don't know. I think it was the shortbread bars, where I took my measuring cup and used that to like form the sides, where the side and the bottom meet, kind of. I definitely don't want any gaps because we don't want anything leaking through. So you should not be able to see the bottom of your pan. Okay, so maybe it comes in layers. I don't know. Ogres have layers. Okay, come on over this way. Again, if you talk to your food, a lot of times it won't do anything you tell it to. I'm serious. That wasn't even a joke. I kid. Okay, and I also don't want to make it, because I got to remember that I have a smaller pan, you know, so I don't want to make it too thick on the bottom or the sides, actually, because that just makes less area for the cheesecake to actually sit, you know? And I'm also going to try and use that crust and press it up against the edges to keep that parchment paper in place, which makes it hopefully easier to pour it in without getting the parchment dirty. I don't know if I probably should cut this extra off, but I also feel like it might be helpful. Alright, I'm trying to get some more of these like baby fine crumbs here, just to fill in a few little spots. Okay. Now remember, this is cereal. I know it doesn't look like it now, but most of it is. Cereal, freeze-dried strawberries, and all the Cheerios, I believe, are pretty good for you, okay? So, and we actually have freeze-dried strawberries, which are pretty, well, the ones I got from Trader Joe's were surprisingly tart. But sometimes, and we tried to make them once, they didn't come out very well, and I don't remember why. I don't remember what the issue was, but I also have some fresh strawberries that I'm thinking about incorporating. Now I gotta try and get this to come up on the side. Oh, look at that, it sticks pretty good. Oh, and then I spoke. Well, let me get it in here and pressed up there and see if I can get it to at least form some sort of crust and me not think it's the bottom crust, you know, because they're all blending together now. The nice thing about having a side, I feel like, is it also gives you that that barrier in the corner of it, you know, of the cheesecake itself actually leaking, you know, between the edge and the bottom, if it doesn't come all the way, if it doesn't meet all the way. Am I making any sense? Oh, sweet Lord. Okay, I gotta just go for it and get a majority of this in here for the sides. I just kind of wanted to measure it out a little bit. So each side has a little bit for me to push up. And I'm going to do this all with my hands. I'm not just dumping this here. made the right amount, hopefully. All right, so I'm hoping to, I guess this one will work. Take this and press it so it's going up. This is also helping to get the bottom kind of like pressed in there really well. Okay, there we go, yeah. Oh, I might have gotten too zealous there. It is forming nicely though. Okay, cool. Please, you know, let this be a happy accident. I never even looked to see if anybody ever made a crust from Rice Krispie treats. Well, not Rice Krispie treats, but cereal treats, anyway. Oi, I don't know, I don't have an even... I'm gonna have to do a little bit more crumb here. Smells wonderful. Really, really does. This adds a little there, a little there, a little there. Okay. Come on, work for me. Okay. You're not supposed to climb back in the cup. Okay. I know somehow this is going to work. I know it is. I just have to stop playing with it. And I don't think I'm going to have the crust go as high as I originally thought I was going to. Because that would require me to make some more crumbs. And I don't really feel the need to, for one thing. Oh, you... Okay, I see what happens when you keep playing. I was trying to make it more of an even crust all the way around. This side's kind of sad. Okay. Get in there, press up there tight, press down, yeah, get those all like use a little bit of resistance. And at some point you just gotta give up because you're just making it stick to your measuring cup more. Okay. I got a little bit left. I might as well use it to my advantage. Hopefully. Usually it's not how that works out, but I'm feeling a shift in the force. Okay. Alright, sorry guys, I got so involved in what I was doing, I kind of zoned out. Okay, I think it's good enough. But there she is in all her glory. We're going to leave her off to the... Actually, I might even put it in the fridge just so the chocolate doesn't... I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm probably not. But, okay, so that was literally 2 tablespoons of butter and the Rice Krispie, I keep saying rice, the cereal treats we made last week. The chocolate covered Cheerios with freeze-dried strawberries mixed in, rolled in freeze-dried strawberry dust. And then, what else did we do? And then we dipped them completely in chocolate. So I took that whole thing and turned it into a pie crust, hopefully. Hopefully. So now, the next step is to get the filling ready. right? And it basically just says dump it all into a high-speed blender and blend it till it's smooth. Well, I'm not going to do that to my poor bun this morning. Or this afternoon, I don't even know anymore. Okay. But I figured it'd be nicer if I didn't. Anyway, this is our 2 cups of non-fat Greek yogurt. Okay. And I'm going to see if I can, because I would like to add some air to it, you know, make it nice and floofy. Alright, and then we've got our 1 cup, which is a brick, of non-fat cream cheese. Okay, come on. Work. Oh, okay. Room temperature, of course, or softened, however you want to put it. It's been sitting out while I've had this crazy morning. Get in there. Okay. Maybe I'll blend those 2 things. We need some liquid. Let's add the eggs. 2 eggs. Go. And I'm going to get this mixed up real quick. Hopefully, if she will cooperate with me. There we go. Okay. So, nice and easy. Slushy, sloshy, slushy, sloshy. Next, I'm going to add the sugar. Okay. And let's do just sugar. Just the sugar. And then I'll scrape down the sides and see where we're at. It's a lovely yellowy color from the egg yolks. Let me just get this. It's still not even close to being even incorporated what's already in here. The stuff that's already in here. But I felt the need to get the stuff off the sides for whatever reason. Alright, and then, okay, so I substituted a 1/4 cup of white for a 1/4 cup of that 1-to-1 gluten-free whole wheat flour. I'm gonna start with just probably half of this. No, I'm gonna go with what I read. I'm gonna go with the fact that they said it could be an equal replacement for a lot of things. White whole wheat flour is what I read. So hopefully that is true. Now I have to be honest with you, this is the first time I've ever put flour, I believe, in a cheesecake. I could be wrong there. Alright, and then last but not least, our 1/8 teaspoon of salt and I did more than a teaspoon of vanilla, but like maybe a teaspoon and a half. Just because I think with the cream cheese and the yogurt, you get 2 sour, kind of tangy things. And I find that vanilla is good at kind of, you know, balancing that out. Alright, let me get this scraped down again. And then we're going to put her on high here. I don't know, for a couple minutes, I guess. See what happens. Alright. I'm incorporating a little bit of air in there, you know, make it nice and floofy, as I like to say. Let me try a little bit. Goodness gracious. I'm just gonna let it keep going. I'm gonna set that for 2 minutes and I'll be back so you don't have to listen to this. Oh my gosh, you guys, it is so fluffy. I'm dropping it everywhere. I just dropped it. Or did I do that earlier? Okay. So fluffy. Okay. I took my crust out of the fridge already. Ding. Okay. Wow. It's a good thing I clean up my sink before I start this show. I cannot believe. Oh my gosh. It's so. Oh, you know what? I might want to. Now that I did that, I saw a little bit of unmixed flour on the bottom. That's the one thing I don't like about these bowls. No, you know what? I think it's fine actually. It's so silky looking. Oh my gosh. Hopefully I love this so that I will never want to use another cheesecake recipe again. Oh, please work with me here. Right down the middle. Keep going. Again, does no one talk to my food? Now the thought was I was going to add the strawberries into the fresh ones that I got. I mean, they're really beautiful too. From Aldi. To mix them into the mix, but I'm like, you know, I really like the plain cheesecake, and then you can put on whatever you want, you know? Kind of, other than the fact I've given you this really decadent crust. Alright, hopefully. And I built the sides up just high enough, believe it or not, for the amount of stuff that's in there. I mean, it goes over it a little bit, but at this point I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get this out of here. I'm just going to have to cut it in the actual. It's so jiggly. I don't know if you do that to cheesecakes or not, but I know people like to have a smooth top, you know? Let me go see if I can find my. I cannot get over how that doesn't taste like yogurt at all. Let's hope my masa spatula's back here. Alright. Now, I can't get to the middle. Oh, I can't do it. Alright, well, I tried. Okay. 45 to 55 minutes. Ours is a little bit on the thicker side because the pan is smaller, and our crust is a little bit thicker, I would say. So we might have to go, if not the full 55, maybe a little extra. Okay? I'm not really gonna, wow, I am such a, call me the lazy baker. It totally looks like there's something in there. Oh, nope, it's just an air hole. Okay, this gal's gonna put this in. And for a little bit of the time, I'm gonna talk to you about monumental moves. But I'm also going to give you the positive quotes from the week. So we'll start with that, since I'm kind of set up here on my phone to do that already. And today's is, love of beauty is taste, the creation of beauty is art, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And then we're going to go backwards, because that's the only way they list them in here. So Valentine's Day was, inner beauty should be the most important part of improving oneself, Priscilla Presley. The 13th, beauty is whatever gives joy, Edna St. Vincent Millay. The 12th, beauty in things exists in the mind, which contemplates them, David Hume. The 11th, I forgot to get the positive quote ready for today, so I'm sharing my beautiful gift from Jordan. The 10th, which was my husband's birthday, happy birthday again. Real beauty is to be true to oneself. That's what makes me feel good. Leticia Costa. And I believe I read this one, but dream, struggle, create, prevail. Be daring, be brave, be loving, be compassionate, be strong, be brilliant, be beautiful. Katerina Fake? F-A-K-E, but I have a feeling that's not how it's pronounced. Alright, so monumental moves. First, I have to turn on the light, because, hello, I want to see what's going on in there. What I think are monumental moves and what other people think are monumental moves are two completely different animals. I am of the idea premise that you take baby steps till you get to, but how do you know when you're getting to, right? How do you know when now I could be totally off base. A lot of times my gut feeling or my female intuition or whatever you want to call it is on a glitch, especially when it comes to vibes about what's going to happen to my future and my goals and if I'm hitting those notes. Okay? And you having your own set of monumental moves, which might be not half as much as that or maybe twice as much. Either way, your baby steps are going to look comparatively different. And in my mind, when I make baby steps, I try to visualize them as huge monumental moves. But of course, you're going to have that big leap at some point that casts you out in the right trajectory. Now, trust me, that's a really hard word for me to say. But in the right trajectory for what your ultimate goal is. Okay? So I'm hopping along, I'm taking all these baby steps. I realize I'm seeing kind of the quote-unquote light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm saying to myself, is this it? Or is there more? So that is kind of what I'm asking you and kind of what I'm telling you in all actuality. I think to myself, I'm on this precipice. I'm standing and I'm looking over this huge, glorious view. But there's this, what seems like a vast expanse between me and, say, the next level. And no matter how many amount of baby steps I take, if I don't leap at some point, I'm just going to be walking myself, boop, right off the cliff. Does that make any sense? So at some point, enough baby steps lead to, or maybe it's one of those like wind-up toys, but in reverse, because I look at it as, you know, you're wound up at the end because you've reached your next level. Maybe it's a video game. I'm just trying to give you equivalents. And so in my head I'm thinking, if there's a point where I have to leap, am I going to have to leap all the way to the other side? Or is there some place soft for me to land in the meantime? So what I like to do is plot out the leap and what are the initial endings that could happen. And can we plan for all of those things? No. Because we all know you make plans and God laughs. But I also know that if you believe enough in what you're doing, that if you have a plan for each one of those endings, you're going to be fine. If it's not the ultimate goal that you get to, I feel like you break off and you find what you're truly supposed to do. Now, I've had several of those careers in my lifetime. You know, when people asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, before I flunked out of Northern, I was going there for psychology. And was not happy there. And while I met some really great people, it wasn't where I wanted to be. So then the next step was, where did I want to be? And that's kind of probably where I lost my way a little bit, because I didn't know where I wanted to be. But there was a reason that I kind of came back and did something else. So I did retail for about too long. I think when I finally stopped doing retail, I was 30. Actually, I went back and dabbled a couple times, I should say. I did take an assistant management position at a downtown store that had just moved into Chicago. It didn't last, but I left before it left because they couldn't see the future of what Chicago was supposed to be like, and we were trying to explain it to them, and they didn't want to listen. So then I stepped back again, and there was a lady there that I worked with. Her name is Luam. And to this day, Luam, I credit you with pushing me and saying, why not you? I never looked at it that way before. Because I told her I really like working out, and I want to be a personal trainer, but it's really expensive, so I don't think I can do it. She goes, yes, you can. I go, no, I don't know. She's like, you can do it. And what I did was, I found a place that I could go to work, and they would train me to be a fitness instructor and teach these classes. They were kind of interesting. I don't think they exist anymore, and I don't even remember the name of them, but there were CDs we had to learn the choreography to, and it basically was all different types. There was a step one, and there was a power lifting one. That's the one I really started out on, and I really liked a lot. But not everybody at the place that I worked liked it too much. But really my ultimate goal was, because they put in their ad, fitness instructor or personal trainer, And I went into the manager's office and I said, I want to know if, or actually, did they come to me? They might have come to me. They did come to me and they said, do you have any interest in being a personal trainer? And I think they asked me that because that was on my application. So I said, absolutely. And they said, well, we'll pay for it if you'll just work it off. And I did just that. And I got myself my own personal training certificate, and I kept that up for a while. And then, of course, pandemic hit, and dreams change. Visions of future changes, and it feels better. It's still all over the place, but the view is getting a lot better. At least I like to think it is anyway. So that's what I mean by monumental moves that makes any sense whatsoever. There was this leap of faith that I took in myself to kind of broach the subject, because I think they were low on personal trainers. I talked to the head personal trainer before and asked him about it, and then they offered to pay for it, and it was just my leap of faith, I guess. So that stood a 14-year career, 15-year career, which will never truly end because I'm always doing those things. But you have to kind of believe enough in the ultimate goal. Because I had to get up and teach fitness classes, which was not my goal. And I had to stand there the whole time remembering the choreography and in my head thinking, remember, this is what you want. This is what you want. So, there you go. I don't know if that helps any or not. But, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to clean up a little bit. Our cake is looking lovely. And, I'll be back with you in a little bit. Don't go away. Just get something to drink. And, hopefully we'll be tasting cheesecake here shortly. Please work, please work. I'll be back. Okay, I cannot begin to tell you how frustrating this is right now. I know my pan is deeper, so my batter is taller, and I know my crust is probably thicker. So I know those are probably the two main problems, but my middle is not setting, and that's not code for anything. That's literally the middle of it's going, woo, chicka, chicka, chicka. So, yeah. So I set it for 5 more minutes, so that should bring us to an even 70 minutes. It smells amazing. It smells almost like a sugar cookie. I don't know why, but... Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going to decorate the top with strawberries, and what I did was I cut them in half, because I don't know, it looked too tall using a whole one. And then you do this, if you're blind, up close. And you slice. You do little cuts across. You want to leave, if you cut them in half, you want to leave greenery on both sides so that it sticks together or stays as one solid. And then you just fan it out like that. I think it'll look cute. Anyway, if it's ever done, I just wanted to give you that update and maybe touch base with you for a few more minutes and then pull my hair out. So to wrap up the whole monumental moves, like I was saying, my monumental moves and your monumental moves are two completely different things because we're two separate entities. But what I'm saying to you is, whatever that is to you is how you're going to have to sometimes think really hard and say to yourself, what is it I want the most? And is it going to be on the other side? And then go from there. And then kind of lay out maybe 3 scenarios, good, bad, or indifferent, if you want to look at it that way, and pick pros and cons, what you can handle and what you can't. If you get these 2 outcomes, am I going to be satisfied? If I get this third one, am I going to cry? Am I going to be, is it tears of joy, or is it because I didn't accomplish the other 2, I'm pulling my hair out? So, 1, I don't want you to pull your hair out. And 2, I think if you remain within your head a thought process. So I always question, okay, where am I supposed to go now? If I have this happening, how can I turn it around? Maybe I am faced in the wrong direction and I'm getting the complete, maybe not the complete 180, but maybe it's saying to me, hey, you're not looking in the right direction. So those are the tips I have for you as far as that goes. Goals, I'm still focusing on drinking water, doing much better. What else was my goal? Oh my gosh, I forgot already. Oh, writing in my journal more, which I'm doing and not doing purposefully now. I've noticed that it doesn't need to be an everyday thing, but probably 3 to 4 times a week, and try to minimize as much as possible any kind of, I don't know why, but the minute I start writing, I put so much pressure into my hand that it makes my whole body hurt. I'll figure it out. And then I want to keep going with those goals, but I have some new ones. I just want to keep them, I don't want to keep them private so much as I want to see which of the ones I want to tell you about next. All right, I'm going to put you on hold, and hopefully this bad boy is done. Actually, why would I have to put you on hold if it's done, right? I'm hoping. That 5 minutes went pretty fast, didn't it? I put a little hat on it, too. I gave it a little aluminum foil tent over the top, just thinking it would kind of steam it without making it any more brown. Which is working as far as not making it any more brown, but whether it's cooked more in the middle or not. And of course, I'm trying not to look, but I also need to look. How do you figure that one out, right? All right. And then I figured I did the whole parchment thing wrong, because I was probably supposed to keep it connected and then I could lift the whole thing out, but I didn't. Oh my goodness gracious. It's still a little too, I'm going to do 5 more minutes. Okay, and then we'll be in an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to put you on hold, I guess, now. Grr. I'm just remembering why it's taking extra time, so I'm trying not to panic. Alright, I'll see you in a little bit. Fingers crossed. Alright guys, I snuck a peek, and I think it's done. Or as done as I'm going to let it be for right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to eventually just turn the oven off and leave it in there for a little bit. Because I really think that's all it needs, but I want to show you guys how she looks. She's starting to crack. I don't mind cracked cheesecake, but everybody's different. But there she is. And like I said, she smells like a sugar cookie. I like how I refer to everything as she. Alright guys, well, I don't get to taste test it, so you'll have to watch. Follow me on Instagram at The Best Blessed Life. Follow me on Facebook at Kristin, Kristin, Haas, Hass. That's right, 1 A, 2 S's. Think of me as an ass. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, and then when I'm done, I'm probably going to decorate it in some sort of manner. So I'll take pictures of that. I'll take pictures of us scarily trying it. Who knows? I might have created a monster. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up for now. I hope I covered everything. I so appreciate you guys watching. Please continue to watch. I love doing these. They frustrate me so bad, but in the end, it always wins. I always want to do something for you guys. Okay, and with that being said, I want you guys to have a good day. Go do great things. Be your best self. And please live your best blessed life. Thanks for watching. Bye.